Welcome back, everybody. Welcome if you're new. Today I am going to try to teach you how to get quicker on dirt here on iRacing. I'm not like one of the best guys on iRacing. I feel like I'm a little bit above average, but not like great or anything, because I have like a little bit over 4K iRating, and I race with a bunch of the really fast guys, and I know for the most part what I'm doing, and I'll do better than over half the people on dirt, I would say. Not like being cocky or anything, but like I'll teach you where to put your car at and like what you're seeing on the track, because I got in this lobby, put the track state about 25%, just so we have like a good slick line, have a little bit of the grip above, and I can kind of show you what each of it does. But going into the corner, all down here is very slick. You're not going to have very much traction on dirt, so you're just going to really slide through it, get real sideways. Up here is kind of like the middle ground. You have some grip, but not a whole lot. Like, you still have a decent amount. And then all the way up here is where you want your right rear tire most of the time. And that's where you're going to have the most grip, keep the car going the fastest, and keep your car going straight for the most part. Because the more sideways you are, the slower you're going. And the more you're in the slick down here, the less you can get on throttle. And the slower you're going to be, the more sideways you're going to be and everything. You can get the car all the way down here at full speed, but it's very hard to keep it down here and keep up the speed like you can up top. So I'll run through like a little bit of a mock lap for you guys. I'm not gonna get all the way out here in 3 and 4, just because like I do a decent amount of laps here and I know kind of where it's quicker, but I'm getting like the right rear right on this grip out here. Not full throttle, if you pay attention to that. I'm not really getting full throttle through the corner. I'm letting off, going about half throttle through the corner. When the car gets too sideways, I'll let off and then really get on throttle when you're getting on the exit. And I just ran my quickest lap of the practice here. I only did like 5 laps of practice, but ran like a 1/10 and a half quicker on that lap. Just keeping the car straight, not getting too sideways. But just keeping the car out of the slick, keeping the rear tires out of the slick. You can get the front tires down there a little bit if you really want to. And I'm running a little bit lower here in 1 and 2, just to kind of show you a lap time for that. Because here at Knoxville, I've done a decent amount of laps, and 1 and 2 you kind of want to stay in that grip. 3 and 4 you can stay a little lower than it when it gets as high as it is there. And we ran a 5.22 there, so we were like half of a tenth off that lap, and I'll go and show you the differences between those laps basically. But the first 2 laps were quite good, actually. I was really happy with those couple laps. So we just ran these laps right here. You can see turn 1, I'm keeping the right rear just in the grip outside. Got a little bit high off of turn 2. 3 and 4, I'm staying just outside of the slick, but not getting all the way up to the grip, because it is kind of really wide out there, and you have a lot of area in the middle. You can make grip and keep up good speed. So that first lap was a 490. Second lap, doing the same thing. Got a little bit lower on exit, so like it gripped up and kind of cut off a little bit of the exit and kept pretty good speed and kept the car pretty straight. Stayed about the same line through 3 and 4 right here on the outside of the slick line. And that lap was a 460. And then here, 1 and 2 stayed outside, got low off of turn 2 once again. Didn't go all the way outside to get that grip. It wasn't as good. And then 3 and 4 kind of did the same line. So I stayed a little bit lower in 1 and 2, and that's where I lost my half-tenth, basically. Like, I didn't get all the way out here for too long, kind of stayed pretty low, because the grip is real skinny going into the corner right here. So your right rear is going to get in it, but I got down a lot faster than I did the lap before where we ran our 460. So that's basically the difference. I'll go out and show you what it looks like if you just run full throttle the whole time. Because like some of you probably think, hey, why don't you just run full throttle in the grip and you'll be faster? Not quite the same. You're going to get a lot more sideways, and it's a lot harder to control the car and keep it straight, just keeping it full throttle. So I'm just going to keep it full throttle, run out here in the grip, try to get my right rear on the edge of the grip the best I can, but it's going to be very tough to handle and keep it at the right angle that you want. Because I got a little bit too wide there, just keeping this thing wide open. And it felt like the tires are just spinning the entire time, and you're not really getting any traction, and you're not going anywhere. So that's the problem. And I have a cat hitting my elbow, like sniffing my elbow and stuff. Yeah, we ran a 19.0 there. That is 6/10 slower than when you're letting off the throttle and actually controlling the car putting it in the right spot and everything. But when you're full throttle, very hard to control it. It gets a lot more sideways and just very tough to control overall. Yeah, 18.9. So that's still half a tenth off easily. And now I'll run down here in the next lap. I'll run down here in the slick and show you how easily sideways it gets. So let me get a run into this next lap, and I'll run bottom on both corners. But I'm gonna try to manage the slickness, but I have to let off a lot more because it's just so sideways through the whole corner. Very tough to control. So you're not getting as much grip down here. So you're not getting as much drive off. The bottom of turn 4 is fine, but once I get on the throttle down there, I'm still kind of sideways. Yeah, 19.1. So you're better off full throttling it than getting down here in the slick, which I still wouldn't advise. Still want to really manage your throttle and get into the right part of the track. But all of that is basically just practicing yourself, learning where you want to put the car, and just like seeing where the grip and everything is, because you want your graphics good enough to where you can see the track changing through the race, and you know where the fastest line is going to be basically at that point. A lot of tracks, it's right up against the wall, and then it'll get slick out there, and you'll still see the slightest bit of grip at the top. Yeah, 18.6, and that wasn't even like, I had a really terrible run into that corner, or into that lap from running the bottom, so that will show you kind of what is like fast and slow there. So let's go back to this. This is when we were full throttling the whole time. You can see how sideways the car is, just hard to control, trying to keep the front tires pointed straight through the whole corner and everything. Just very tough to keep it going straight altogether, and not very fast at all. I have a cat just playing with a toy now. I don't know if you guys could hear that. Sorry if that's the case. I usually put them up when I do races, but this is just kind of like a tutorial thing and everything, so I figured they wouldn't bother me much. But yeah, you can see just full throttling it is not the quickest way around, but the more you get in the race, the further and further up this grip is going to get, and it'll actually get quicker. And then down here where we're just running straight through the slick, and you can see how just sideways the car is, and I'm barely using any throttle trying to keep it straight down there. And it just gets so slick, so you really do not want your rear tires into it. That's the hardest thing, is just not getting your rear tires in the slick. But like I was saying, some tracks are all the way up here by the wall the entire time, like Eldora and Charlotte gets like that a decent amount. Kokomo is always up top, so it'll get very slick up there, but there's still that grip at the very top. If you're comfortable enough practicing and getting your right rear right up on that wall basically, and keeping it straight, that's very tough to do. But if you're comfortable enough doing that, if not, come a little lower, get yourself back into the grip down here, don't run in the slick. That's the main thing. Like I did this at Knoxville to kind of show a point, because the bottom normally is the fastest way around, and then it'll get slick and move up and up and up, so it's easy to show it off here, like what's going on. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit, and I helped you out a little bit here, so showing like the throttle and all that for the fast times. I'll go back to the few good laps here, so you can kind of see like the throttle usage and everything. Like I'm really not getting full throttle until on the exit when the car is pointed straight. That's like the main thing. You really don't want to get too sideways and get fully on throttle until you're like really pointed off the corner. But like I said, I'm not the like pros or anything. I have a couple friends that run in the pro leagues, and they've given me a couple pointers here and there. And the main thing is really just don't get full throttle until your car is pointed straight on the exit. Don't use full throttle through the corners. You really want to manage it and just try to keep the car pointed straight while getting it rotated in the corner, because if you don't get it like whipped into the corner a little bit, you're just going to go straight and then probably nail the wall. Or if anybody's on the outside of you, you're going to hit them. So hopefully that helped you out, guys, a little bit, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Hopefully you guys can get a little bit faster here on dirt. It takes a lot of practice time. I've done a million laps here on dirt in like a bunch of different cars and everything like that. So basically I've ran dirt a while. I've ran it before it had like the dirt license. Like when it first came out, it went off like the oval license and stuff. So I've done dirt since like the beginning of it, and I have a decent understanding of it, and I'm trying to get better and better at it, especially on the sprint car side. I'm not great on the sprint car side. That's why I wanted to show you guys in the super late model, just so it made a little bit more sense. And if you guys are running the slower series, like the limited late models, the 305s, this doesn't really apply as much for them. You can kind of full throttle and keep the car pretty straight because those don't have too much horsepower. The dirt street stocks, you kind of want to take a little bit here and there of these notes, because when you run street stocks, they are very heavy and they like to slide a whole lot. So that's basically all you really want to do at the same time. Like, I'll go back up to these laps just so you something to watch for a minute. But the street stocks, they're very heavy. They like to slide a lot. You want to let off, try to keep the car straight like you do in these, and then get on throttle on exit. But you can kind of be a little bit more aggressive in the street stocks than you can in like the super late models or the 410s. So basically that's all it is. Try to manage your throttle, keep the car straight. You don't want to get too sideways. These are like my first couple practice laps, just trying to make sure where the right line was, just to be sure. And I smacked the wall a couple times because I do that on exits, because like I said, I'm not the best, but I'm pretty quick for the most part. Like I usually stay around like a 4,000 to 4.5k on dirt side, so I'm decent at it. I have like I think what 80 wins or something like that, 85ish, out of like 600 700 races on dirt. So I've done a decent amount of races, have a lot of experience, and this is all like my experience put together, and hopefully I can get better in the sprint cars for next season, because the tour was rough for me this last season, and hopefully, because that was a brand new thing with like the completely slicked out track with a bunch of people, and it was a lot of fun. So hopefully we can get better at that, and I can take my own advice, because I'm decent at this in practice. Once I get into a race setting and I'm around people, I'm a little bit too throttle happy at that point, trying to catch up to guys or stay in front of people, and then it'll just get you more sideways and you're slower. So you just remember, more sideways is slower, straighter is faster, and you just want to have control of your car for the most part. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Hopefully it helped you guys out, and I'll catch you guys in the next races.